Hello, welcome to Beyond Change. Today I want to talk about meditation, but I want to say something about this book, Thinking in Systems. It's an amazing book, but it's very heavy, which means this is a book that you need to take a break from. Like you read a chapter, maybe two, you leave it alone, you digest what you just read for a couple of days. You can do some notes. This is the way I read books. I take notes because, especially these kind of books, because they could really be very heavy, and then you don't want to go back to them again. But you know that they have a lot of wisdom and they have a lot of information that it's good to know. But anyway, so this book is very interesting, and I want to start today's video. And I know it's about meditation, but can you know the cause of something without imagining it first? And this is the premises of this book. So it's pretty much based on understanding that everything is a system and every system has a flow, and this flow has ultimately a particular goal. And if something goes in between that disrupts the flow, then the end goal is not longer available. So it's pretty interesting. So I highly recommend it. Meditation. Okay. Meditation is one of those things that can really make you, or perhaps even force you, to see things in a total different way. So I want to talk about meditation from the spiritual standpoint, okay? Because we can always focus on the neuroscience of meditation and what happens while we're thinking, and the interconnection between the thinking process and what's going on in the brain and what's going on in the nervous system. But let's focus today on the spiritual portion of it. So meditation is based on understanding that there is something external to the mind that is already observing it. And some of the scholars of yoga, they call this a force, or in Sanskrit, I think it's called turiya. And by the way, this is written in yogi scriptures. Okay, so I just want to explain this in a simple way so that we can continue learning and not to be too heavy, because this could really, you can go in a rabbit hole and then you never come out again. So what is a force? So what is this state of awareness that we are and that we need to understand when we are meditating? So, right now we are in the awake state, which is we're here, we're experiencing the world, we are part of this reality, and then we are really utilizing our senses in order to be present in this moment in space and time. Then we have, when we go to sleep at night, then we have the dream state. And the dream state is where the mind takes over. The mind has its own agenda, starts dreaming, it starts imagining things. And then when we wake up in the morning, we remember and we say, I had a dream and I saw myself, you're riding a horse on an island or something like that, right? And it felt so real to you. It was so real. So there was awareness there to the point where you remember. Okay. And then we have the deep sleep. The deep sleep is where the mind shuts down completely. There is no awareness at all, not even from the perspective of dreaming, because there's no dream in that state. You are completely checked out, per se. So but when you wake up and you feel like you had a great night, right? And you say, wow, I had a great night. And this is where the spiritual part comes in. And especially the yogis ask, so how do you know you had a good night? And you say, well, because I felt so good and I slept like so deliciously, amazingly great. The knowing of that is what the yogis call consciousness. And this is a state of awareness that it's, in a way, the way I understanding, does not belong to the mind. It's an external entity that is constantly witnessing all. And that is, in essence, who we really are. So when we meditate, and going back to the main topic here, when we meditate, we are going to see our minds in full activity, correct? So we'll see different thoughts. We're going to see and feel different sensations, and each thought carries a particular energy, and this energy triggers a particular emotion, and then the emotion triggers a particular history, right? And the history of the emotion, it's called samskara. And this samskara, which is like an imprint of memory in the mind, right, creates a new story. You see? So it is like a repetition. And some books call this circular thinking, which is pretty much going in circles because you are like repeating this samskara or the memory, and it appears during your meditation practice. So how can we stop this way of thinking? How can we really realize that we are not the mind or the thinking process, right? So this circular thinking, as I said, is just a memory that triggers another memory, and it triggers another memory, and it triggers another memory, and it's repetitive, right? I don't remember the exact amount, but I've heard before that we have like 80,000 thoughts a day, and like 90% of them are repeated. And I might be wrong, but I'm going to find out about that. Again, so how can we understand our minds and understand and realize that we are not our minds is very simple. When someone is showing you something, let's say I'm showing you this container, correct? And you're seeing the container. Now you're saying, yeah, I see the container. But who is really seeing this? You say, I am seeing. But is it really you who's seeing this? Because ultimately, like if we go a little deep into this, you're not seeing this. It is the brain that's seeing this, right? And you have eyes that receive and perceive the light, and it transforms these images into electrical impulses, and it goes in the brain, and the brain interprets that particular set of light energy, and it interprets that. And it is the mind that takes that knowledge of based on experience, samskara, that is seeing this again and again and again and again. And the mind is like, oh, I know this. This is a container. I've seen it before. I've seen it millions of times. So it's something that the mind gets so used to it that it keeps repeating. See, have you ever experienced when you go to a different city or to a different location that you have never seen before, and you are like, oh, this is so wonderful. This is so beautiful. It triggers so much emotions. It triggers so many states of mind that you get so happy. And what happens is it triggers also different chemicals in the brain, right? And it's sort of like the dopamine effect, right? It's like a reward. You want to see more. You want to see something different. You want to go there. You want to go here. And this is what the mind does. And every time you experience something, it creates an imprint in the mind, and it's called memory. Now, how can we meditate? No one can teach you how to meditate. I know there are workshops, there are books, there are teachers that can teach you how to meditate. But in my experience, I don't think it's possible to teach someone how to meditate. I think we can guide somebody perhaps, and we can give them some pointers, right? And these persons can follow those pointers, right? One of the things, and it's pretty common and pretty much, I'm sure you know this, is the breath. And you've seen it, you've heard it before, okay, focus on your breath, and then we go and we close our eyes and we focus on our breath, and then the mind continues, and then the breath is gone, and it's like, where is it? Because we have already been seduced by the mechanisms of the mind, the thinking process of the mind, and then we're gone. And that's why we need to come back. So this process of coming back, it's what the yogis call also the witness or the seer, which is based on pure consciousness. So I know a lot of people mention consciousness as the mind, but the mind is not consciousness. The mind is just a tool, okay, that is used for us as humans, right, to interpret information, and that information will be transformed into emotions, and these emotions will transform into other thoughts, and it's a vicious cycle, right? So what we want is like to stop this snowball effect, stop it completely, and then see it for what it is. I hope I made sense, but I was thinking, because today is in the Northern Hemisphere, today is the autumn equinox, and there is 100 days left in the year. And I actually posted that on my Instagram account, and I said, why don't we just meditate for 100 days for 5 minutes a day? I think it's very doable, and if you're up for the challenge, you're welcome. And again, you can just sit, close your eyes, and observe, and understand that everything that comes to your mind, agendas, things to do, moments of happiness, moments of sadness, moments of resentment, and all that is just a construct of the mind, right? I mentioned on my previous video in my introduction that your true self is a construct of your authenticity. So when you become authentic is when you'll be able to see that this moment of like being seduced by the mind and you coming back, that moment of realizing, hey, I'm going away, I need to come back, that is your authentic self. That is your authentic self. And from the spiritual standpoint, it's peaceful. It's omniscient, omnipresent, right? It's pure happiness. And this is according to spirituality and yogi scriptures, especially Vedanta Yoga, tells you you are consciousness, you are Aham Brahmasmi, which is omniscient, omnipresent, blissful. Okay, so if you enjoyed this video, please let me know any comments. I like to hear your voices. I like to hear your opinions. And this is a channel where we're gonna start interchanging our different perspectives. I do this with the utmost respect for everyone. And if you believe in something different, please just be free and tell me what you think. And this is the whole point of this corner that I created here, to just exchange our points of views and be able to learn from each other. Okay, so if you enjoyed this, please, you know what to do. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll be good. I'll make my mind very happy. Okay, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.